Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera. Mr. Del Palacio.
Here.
Mr. Ortega Romero. Mr. Chapman.
Here.
And Ms. Sun.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Land National will be led by Steve Chapman.
The Tolleson High School District Governing Board would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Owens and the TUHSD peoples, and pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. We recognize their enduring connection to this land, their rich culture and language, and the invaluable contributions they have made and continue to make in our community. As we gather today for the Tolleson High School District Governing Board meeting, let us remember the significance of these lands and honor the legacy of the original stewards of this territory.
Thank you, Member Chapman. And now for the approval of the regular agenda, on the motion that is recommended the Governing Board approve the regular meeting agenda. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera. No. Mr. Del Palacio.
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero.
Yes.
Mr. Chapman.
Yes.
And Ms. Sun.
Yes. And now to the celebrations, the District Office Administration Staff of the Year. Superintendent Guys, please enjoy.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, it is my pleasure to bring up Ms. Stacy Almaraz to recognize our District Office Administrator Staff of the Year.
If Bo asks a question, we all listen to the answer. He is creative. Opportunity never gets old. He is so intelligent, I often call him to bounce ideas or see what procedures he has in place. And overall, a great human being. Mr. Oxford is an exceptional colleague who embodies the qualities of being calm, cool, and collected. He is always willing to lend a hand and takes immense pride in everything he does. He is an invaluable member of our team. His kindness and patience are evident. His staff holds him in the highest regard. Bo's approach to leadership is truly inspiring. He watches, listens, learns, and responds with intentional actions. Bo is not just a principal, he is a leader who genuinely cares about the well-being and success of his school community. Bo knows excellence, Bo knows leadership, and he knows how to make lasting impact. We are all better for knowing him. Mr. Oxford, thank you for everything you do. Your dedication and support are truly appreciated, and we are grateful for the positive impact you have made in our community. Congratulations, Mr. Alfred Bo Oxford.
It is my privilege to present the classified employee of the district office. I would like to bring out Ms. Noemi Herrera to the stage. She also has some coming down to see her. Sorry, I told you I'd never lie, but I lied twice. I wanted to tell you to come, and two, we're not doing a presentation tonight. Noemi's smile and welcoming demeanor in the morning for every department that works at the district office. Her desire for knowledge was incredible. She came in and took everything and just ran with it. To keep me in check is your win anyway, so thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
I can tell you that Noemi's leadership and guiding the assistant principals for discipline, their admin assistants, working with the athletic directors, their admin assistants, working with finance and grants and intervention and support. She works with so many people, and we are grateful to have her. I generally fire her once a day, but we do hire her back twice. She's a great, I was going to tell people I don't have anything good to say tonight because the only thing I have to say is great. She really is a great human being, a great person, and her family is great. Her kids are so great, they win Student of the Month every week. You'll figure that out in a second. But they're great people, and it is truly, truly an honor to work with her and to have her in our department, and we're blessed every day. Congratulations.
Congratulations again to everyone, and now to our next celebration will be the Tolleson High School Employee English Classes, Recognitions, Superintendent Guides, and Glory.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, at this time I'd like to invite up Ms. Christina Boston, our Director of Multilingual and Multicultural Education, and Ms. Brittany Moreno, our English Acquisition Program Coordinator.
Good evening, President Sun, Vice President Chapman, members of the board, and Superintendent Cayas. My name is Christina Boston. I am the Director of Multicultural Education, along with Ms. Brittany Moreno, the English Acquisition Program Coordinator, and Ms. Caitlin Shaw, Instructional Leadership for World Languages. Tonight, we have a recognition of the Tolleson Union High School District Employee English class, which was part of the Superintendent Cayas listening tour initiated a couple years ago. We are excited to share with you this year's progress and success of the program, which is dedicated to empowering our staff with language development. Through our multicultural education division, vision, and mission, We empower students to become proficient in multiple languages while embracing diverse cultures. This initiative prepares us to design a similar program aimed at helping employees continue to thrive in the world and succeed in the Tolleson High School district with their careers. We provide comprehensive instruction, multilingual cultural education, career development opportunities aimed at enhancing their linguistic abilities and English to empower their colleagues and professional growth. The purpose of our employee English class is to bridge communication and get gaps and foster a stronger sense of community within our district. Through engaging lessons and personalized instruction, we help our colleagues improve their English language skills, which in turn supports their professional and personal development. This class includes participants from every high school and district office and includes a wide range of essential roles from our custodial staff, cafeteria staff, maintenance, and transportation departments. Classes were held at La Jolla Community High School in Copper Canyon right before the start of their workday for each staff member. One of the coolest things that we did was one of the most memorable classes was Native American virtual reality experience offered by the Liaison Museum. This immersive activity supported listening, comprehension, and discussion in English, while also building cultural understanding. It was a powerful way to blend language learning with celebration of Indigenous heritage, and our learners loved it. They thought it was really cool to put those things on. Shout out to Mr. Christian Torres, the IT assistant Thanks to the support, each participant checked out a district-issued laptop to support their learning. This step was critical in removing barriers to access. The laptops allowed them to complete assignments, access language resources, and the coolest thing is they were able to email me, chat me, to tell me how good they were doing in class. It was really neat. As part of the class, participants gave short presentations in English on topics relevant to their lives and journey. Ms. Rennie has their poster boards they made. These moments were more than just language practice. This was a chance for the staff to find their voice and feel proud of the growth that they've done. They made progress from last year to this year. This is super inspiring. Our employee English class wouldn't be possible without passionate and expertise of our two incredible instructors. Miss Laura Walker, can you please stand? She's a Spanish teacher at La Jolla. Ms. Walker comes with us with 29 years of teaching experience from Mexico, Thailand, and Colombia. She brings a wealth of knowledge and a passion for creating engaging and interactive learning environments. Our other teacher was Christy Pacheco, an EL teacher from Copper Canyon. Both educators created a welcoming and supportive environment where the staff felt encouraged and they were able to take risks and grow. Thank you so much to those amazing educators. Can we give them a round of applause again? The most powerful part of the program is the people in it. This year, participants completed 115 hours. Let me say that again. 115 hours of English instruction while balancing full-time responsibilities. That level of commitment speaks volumes. One of our adult learners, Esmeralda de Medina, a custodian at Copper, shared, "I'm excited to learn the English language and grateful to those who support this opportunity." So thank you, Governor Ford. Her words reflect the heart of this program that reminds us that language learning isn't just about grammar or about vocabulary. It's about finding your voice and feeling valued in your workplace and beyond. So tonight, to recognize the hard work and dedication of our learners, we present a Certificate of Achievement for the completion of the Employee English class. The certificate symbolizes their commitment to improving their language skills and their contributions to our community.
opportunities to sit down, to meet with me and chat with me. And I applaud all of you ladies, and what most of you guys don't realize is that they may be our staffs, they may be part of our Tolleson district family, but they are extraordinary ladies. In fact, they brought me to tears because once they started sharing their personal lives and their accomplishment, and one of the greatest accomplishments, I was not surprised, was that they had these amazing children that are excelling and advancing, you know, in our society and what they brought to the table and into our community. So I'm very grateful of that. And the reflection I was able to see myself and my mother and my father and them was just absolutely priceless. And another shout out to the teachers. I know that Laura and Christy Pacheco, I know how dedicated you are, and I know that there's only 3 students, give or take, depending, on the year. Their sacrifices and their commitment, and that they're taking this time to create a space for our most, vulnerable, members of our district to advance their knowledge, their culture, to share with us what they have to give is absolutely priceless. And to see it at this level, and hoping to have this extend through various levels of our district, is something I look forward to. So thank you for being the pioneer and the forefront and battling and supporting our great, staffs and giving them that extra layer of support and strength. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So I don't want to take up too much time. On to the next item agenda. If we get one last applause to the graduates. Thank you, ladies. And now to number 3, the celebration is the Desert Devils, the youth football. Superintendent Guys, please take it away.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, this time I'd like to invite up Mr. Louis Stein and some of the Desert Devils to share about the success of the spring season.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to come and share this opportunity with you. This is our 2nd season of being sponsored by the district, and it has been a phenomenal experience. I understand the first season was a little rough, getting to know the rules and the boundaries of where we needed to stand by. We had a great season our first one, but this second one has been phenomenal. Our 8 youth on the bowl, our 11 youth won our loss at semifinals. We almost got there. Our 12 youth championship. They won the state championship. They had a great season. It's one thing to win the championship. It's another to go undefeated. They are a phenomenal squad. Our 13 youth also made the playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost as well. So we're progressing, and we sincerely appreciate everything that you've done for this organization. We're growing. You'll see on the picture we have over 200 athletes, cheer and football. It has made a tremendous progress in our community. It's allowed all these children to participate. So again, we want to thank you. We want to offer you this plaque that shows all of these athletes that have been participating in the Desert Devils, and also with a championship ring from our 12 youth to the district. Well, thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite that gave some of us to participate and to sit at the bench and watch the little devils play. And I can't help to think that the families and the kids that come and participate in your program are in our communities, and that we are a family, and that we know that some of the kids will be coming to our feeder schools and to our high schools and setting them up for a regular, development at such an early age. I swear those little ones are so adorable. You guys have to go out and watch them. It's just the best. And again, thank you for collaborating with us, and don't ever feel bad about making mistakes and having rough waters, because we all go through that. And the goal is to serve our kids in our community, and that's what's the most important. So we thank you for your leadership and your participation. And now we would like to take a 5-minute break, and afterwards I will reconvene back to order.
All right,
And
feel
there's
free
cookies
to,
and drinks over here.
yes, cookies and drinks right up here up front. Feel free to help yourselves. And we're going to proudly display this in the
There's a new weapon on the market.
Yeah, it's so powerful it can take out more than one person at the same time, and you never have to reload. It can get past security.
I heard it was so small that it can fit in your pocket. No way my parents will find out about this.
I heard it could strike at the touch of a button.
Report, don't repost.
Stop social media threats now.
It's never a joke.
Benefits of unified sports are social participation and the exposure to new activities, things that they might not have had otherwise had opportunities to participate in.
When we build our equipment and our kids who can't typically participate are able to do something independently, the joy that they get from doing that activity for the first time is incredible.
I didn't really like playing in front of people in the beginning because I thought I wasn't good at it. And then once I got used to playing in front of people, I got a little bit out of my shell, and now I'm comfortable playing with other people.
I learned that I need to be confident.
Confident. Oh, you want to be more confident?
Yeah.
You learn to be more confident?
Special Olympics has had such an impact on the Arizona community as a whole because we are really focused on community for all. It doesn't matter what kind of situation you're in, what is your disability. We are really here for everybody, making life happen for everybody, making fun happen for everybody, because sports are fun.
We've been playing like different kind of sports like volleyball, and we played this one game. It's called that. We wear these like uniforms and stuff like that. Like whoever had the ball, you stop, and we drove it to our teammate. Now we just actually legit play badminton day. Been training super hard that day.
Funnest, most happiest people I've ever seen in my life. It's just every day is just they have that positivity that can spread everywhere, like it's contagious.
Unified Sports benefits students with and without disabilities in just so many ways. You see them come into the class at the beginning of the year and they're very shy, not very aware of how to act or behave, and then you just see these relationships blossom and then grow, and they truly do become like a team, and they're super close, super tight, and our students really do show really great examples of this throughout competitions, is really supporting those that do have disabilities and just having those friendships and building that support and having that support for one another.
I really enjoy dancing because I learned that when the first time I danced, I was shy, but then I realized that dancing can be not just about dancing, it can be about making memorable memories.
During these past few months of the year when we started, I feel that the most memorable moment is when we all started playing, not knowing what we were doing, but we still figured it out in front of everyone.
We love everything unified, bringing people together, athletes, partners, giving them that normal experience of a team. And as a district, we came together and said, let's plan these events, district events.
At first, I was coming into it not knowing what to expect, and I feel like that's most cases for like things that you haven't tried before. But I definitely feel that I've grown so much with it. I've learned a lot, and it's something that I want to do more with. Like I want to be a part of my future.
I think that you can look at the footage of students and see the smiles on their faces and know that what Unified Sports is offering those students in general is a great deal of independence, success, and joy. I think you can look at any single player and be like, this program is making a difference.
I think the partners too, like
for sure,
they get really excited to learn about our switch stuff and all the equipment we use, and then encouraging their athlete to participate. So I think it's a growing and learning opportunity for them that they really enjoy.
Join it because it's something where you're gonna not only learn how to play a sport, but you're gonna learn social skills with different people, knowing that when we go out into the real world, it's not just gonna be us, it's gonna be other people. And they're no different than us, but it's just showing that we're gonna have that type of connection with special education than just gen ed kids.
I don't know, I just think Unified is one of the greatest programs that high schools can offer, and I hope that we are able to have more and more Unified classes that not just cater to Unified Sports, but then cater to all different opportunities and interests. So hopefully our program just continues to grow.
Why settle for a school that only offers you one thing when you can have a school that offers you everything? Does your school have a cafeteria like this? or a performing arts center like this, or a football field like this, or an innovation center like this. Forward march. Or a path to the military like this, or a career and technical education program like this. Or will their digital media program take you here, or here, or here, or a media center like this? You can find all this and more at the Tolleson Union High School District. Enroll now.
My name is Ashley Pollock, and I am a math teacher at Tolleson Union High School. I'm here to talk about an important opportunity coming up, the ACT exam on October 22nd. The ACT is the key exam to determining how prepared you are for college, but also opens doors to scholarships and any other financial options. The ACT will also help you jumpstart any current plans you may have for the future, whether that's college, starting a career, or any other potential options. The ACT will also help you better prepare for your final attempt happening in March this year. But it's not just about you. Your performance also benefits our school and our entire district. When you perform well on the ACT, it shows how committed we are to academic excellence. It also leads to more opportunities and resources to all of us. So I encourage you to try your best, aim for proficiency, and show what you are capable of. Remember, if you are in need of any help, talk to a teacher or a counselor for tutoring or practice test opportunities. We all support you.
And now to the summary of the current events. Superintendent Guys, please take it away.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, during 4th and 5th periods, students at Copper Canyon High School had a unique opportunity to participate in the Adopt a Pilot program with a guest pilot from Southwest Airlines. The visit sparked strong interest among our English Limited students, many of whom have prepared thoughtful questions earlier in the week as part of their language development work. The real-world learning experience aligned with Arizona's English language development curriculum and English language proficiency standards, particularly Standard 1, constructing meaningful oral presentations, Standard 2, participating in academic conversations, and Standard 3, speaking and writing about content area topics. It was a powerful moment of connection between language development and career exploration. What a great opportunity for our Copper Canyon EL students. And at West Point High School, we recently held its National Spanish Honor Society induction ceremony. During the event, they announced the results of the National Spanish exam. Several students achieved silver and bronze medals this year. Students Devana Assis Cruz, Aha Leon, Leah Ochoa, Meta Sigala, Camila Calderon, and Kenya Nunez were part of the team that represented Devana Assis Cruz and Anna Leon both received silver medals. Meta Sigala and Camila Calderon earned bronze medals. Congratulations to these students for completing the year's National Spanish exam. West Point welcomed 18 new inductees into the National Spanish Honor Society this year, and many parents attended the ceremony and was overall Southwest Point. Back over at Copper Canyon High School student Maria Maldonado, 11th grader, received honorable mention for her artwork titled Sophia Huitzal in Congressman Paul Gosar's Congressional Art Contest. The recognition took place Saturday, May 10th at the Desert Caballeros Western Museum in Wickenburg. The Aztec goddess, representing beauty and love, is shown in a jaguar headdress with a snake wrapped around her shoulders. The jaguar represents strength and personal power, while the snake highlights the duality of the creation and destruction of life on Earth. Maria's work stood out among many entries, and we're proud to see her represent TUHSD in such a meaningful event. So Digital photography and yearbook teacher at Tolleson Union, Natalie Howe, recently took both TUHS and UHI students to give real-world photography experience. The students traveled on a recent field trip to the Maricopa County West Valley Animal Shelter. This trip was a huge success as students gained real-world experience taking marketing photos of the adoptable dogs, which will then be shared with the shelter to help get these animals into their forever homes. The shelter was grateful for the time the students spent playing with and photographing the dogs. The students had such an amazing time and made some furry friends along the way, so great job over there at Tolleson Union. And our TUHSD band trailers are coming along. Here you can see a design for the Copper Canyon band trailer. Our PR department is working hard to get all of the band trailers wrapped as quickly as possible. Thanks to our district graphic designer, Audrey Hernandez, for her great work on creating these moving billboards promoting TUHSD and its band programs throughout the state of Arizona. So good job. At the last board meeting, we told you about Copper Canyon High School being selected as the recipient of the 5A Glenn Treadaway Sportsmanship Award. Copper Canyon was honored recently on stage at the AIA Night of Champions Award Show that took place on Sunday, May 18th at the Vista Center of the Arts in Surprise, Arizona. Here are some photos from the award show. Copper Canyon was ranked as the #1 school in the 5A conference for sportsmanship, demonstrated by coaches, spectators, and athletes. So, congratulations once again to Copper Canyon High School. Since our last meeting.
Thank you, Superintendent Guys. And now to the board members' update. Member Luna Nahara.
I don't have any updates, just want to congratulate everybody on the graduations. It was a great event. 2 days worth for a day and a half from 9 a.m. to about 10 a.m. Back-to-back graduations. It's a great job to everybody who participated and everybody who helped make that event possible. And I hope everybody has a great season.
Thank you, Member Luna Nahara. Member Delazio?
No update at this time. Thank you.
Okay, and now Member Miguel online. Yes.
Yeah, well, I first want to once again congratulate everyone for finishing off the year strong. I really appreciate the teachers, staff, students, and their hard work. And if you're traveling this summer, please be careful, please be safe. And lastly, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, so I want to acknowledge the struggles we sometimes as humans face. For everyone who's struggling with mental health, I want to tell you that there are people and resources ready to help, and you're never alone.
Thank you, Member Romero Ortega. And now to Member Chapman. Any updates?
Yeah, just wanted to thank and congratulate certainly all our graduates. Congratulate all our staff members who helped get all of our seniors over the final hurdles. And certainly all of our district and site administrative and support staff who helped make our graduation 2 days very successful, very celebratory, and very memorable for thousands of students and parents across the district. So thank you all. Hopefully some of you have some fun summer plans to realize. So thank you all.
Thank you, Member Chapman. And for myself, I'd like to echo a member of our society and, low percentage, but we are extremely grateful and proud to be part of this great nation. And the 8-HPI Celebration Awareness Month is to collaborate and to do that cross-cultural collaboration work to events in this great country. So with that said, I hope you guys get a chance to experience AHHPI endeavors. There's quite a few events happening across the state of Arizona. And now we will move to the public participation. I have the request, and before we start with our first guest to the podium, I just wanted to read some of the verbatims and the guidelines. All regular and special meetings of the board shall be open to the public. The board invites the viewpoints of citizens throughout the district and considers the responsible presentation of these viewpoints vital to the efficient operation of the district. The board also recognizes its responsibility for the proper governance of the schools and therefore the need to conduct its business in an orderly and efficient manner. Any individual desiring to address the board shall complete a form, request to address board, and give this form to the governing board executive assistant prior to the start of the board meeting. No one may approach the dais to speak with board members, the superintendent, or administrative assistant without the board president's permission, whether before, during, after, or incidentally in the meeting. Anyone wishing to speak with those on the dais must first obtain approval from the board president. Unless the members of the dais would like to approach the audience, that will be allowed, of course, and this is the time for the public to comment. Governing board members are not permitted to discuss or take legal action on matters raised during the open call to the public, unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. However, the law permits governing board members to do the following at the conclusion of the open call session. A, respond to the quizzes made by those who have addressed the governing board. B, ask staff to review a matter. Or C, ask that a matter be put on the future agenda. In order to facilitate accomplishing the business of the district in a timely manner, a time limit of 3 minutes will be imposed for each individual or group addressing the board. When you approach the podium, please state your name for the record. Our first public commenter will be Alex C. Bonner. I can't read the name. Stamina.
President Sun, Vice President Chapman, members of the board, Superintendent Cayes, Ms. Goodman, I am Alex Stevanov, a teacher at Copper Canyon. I planned for 3 minutes last week. I didn't quite get to everything I wanted to say, so I figured I'd come back and finish my annual State of the District address. Really, all I didn't get to was my closing, so I'd like to close by saying that as my 10th year at Tolleson Union High School District comes to an end, I cannot wait for my 11th year to begin. There is no community I'd rather be a part of. There are no principals I'd rather work for. There are no teachers I'd rather work with. And most importantly, there are absolutely no students I'd rather teach. But while I have the floor, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate Mr. Oxford on Administrator of the Year. He is the principal of Wright. He is an incredible leader, colleague, and person. All the accolades he receives are well earned, but no accolade can adequately measure his positive influence on Copper Canyon High School. Congratulations, Bo.
Next will be Sydney Wright.
Good evening, President Sun, Vice President Chapman, members of the board, Superintendent Cayes, and Ms. Goodman. My name is Sydney Wright, and I'm a teacher in the district. I've noticed that there's been misinformation running rampant in our community lately. Some members of the community have concerns about our district, how our district spends money. They're upset about a $450,000 settlement, but ignoring the fact that this settlement was a result of sexual harassment and retaliation. They're upset about our district supporting a neighboring district, but ignoring the fact that this preserved our feeder schools, created student opportunities, and effectively created a savings account for our district with interest, with funds that could have been taken by our state government at any point. They're claiming a misappropriation of funds, yet the former governing board member leading this anti-public education charge used district funds for personal use, and actual misappropriation of funds exposed by the state auditor general. There are so many pieces of the story that are being ignored, and we can point fingers all day long. But what frustrates me the most is who we are ignoring in these conversations. We're forgetting our most important stakeholders, our students. When bonds and overrides become pawns in a political game, it's our students who pay the price. Their opportunities become threatened, school programs become threatened. Extracurriculars, athletics, special education programs, CTE programs, staffing, school safety and maintenance, just to name a few. I'm personally grateful for the opportunities that our community has made possible by voting yes on bonds and overrides. Our community values public education, which is critical in a time when our federal and state governments do not. However, no bonds until you're gone means no opportunities for our students until politics win, and that is a tragedy. While I have appreciation and respect for our governing board and our superintendent, I don't show up to work every day for them. I show up to work for my students. I show up to work because I believe that those students are deserving of quality education and quality opportunities. And I hope that no one who claims to be in support of public education would use those opportunities as collateral in their hunt for political gain. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And our next speaker will be David Riggs. Come to the podium.
Superintendent Owens, members of the governing board. At the last board meeting, a special meeting of the board where no one was allowed to speak, I stood up and indicated to Cayas that he broke the law. And what a sham the meeting was. Cayas broke the law in the state of Arizona, but he broke the laws governing decency and civility. How many more times is Cayas going to use special meeting tactics to silence the public? Avoid public input prior to having the board decide what they think is good for you, the parents and community of the Tolleson School District. The superintendent has boasted education leaders from across the state that district bonds are like a credit card without a limit. Tells district financial advisors, by bond language and vague terms to hide the true intent of bonds. The absolute audacity of Cayas to buy 2 parcels of land, both outside of Tolleson, one in Glendale for a new district office, and the other in Phoenix for who's what, without public input beyond one's imagination. He claims to be working with 70 districts in Arizona. How he can be a superintendent and do both without shirking responsibilities to one another is somewhat questionable. Since you stated that you don't need this job because you make 3 times as much as your LLCs, maybe it's time to go.
Next speaker will be Owens. Please come to the podium.
Good evening, Superintendent Cayas and board members. My name is Kim Owens. I was a 30-plus year resident of this district, a taxpayer, and 20 years on this very school board. I put 4 children through this school system, making 3 generations of my family that walk the halls of Tolleson High School. I'm very proud of the 20 years I spent as a board member, and my name is on the plaques. Schools in this district, with the exception of West Point, but the proudest moment I have as a board member was University High, where we took dedicated effort to make sure that every child had an opportunity to graduate with the greatest rigor possible. What I superintendent and a school board that are nothing but rubber stamp. I look at this agenda and it should be a shame that everything is on the consent agenda. There is no discussion. Items 6 and 7, 5 and 6, excuse me, need to be removed, and I urge you to vote no. Those are dollars that could be spent educating children, but instead you're using them for your political ploy. A previous speaker talked about politics. There is nothing but politics in this district right now with this board and superintendent. The money that you spend here will be encumbered for years to come, long after all of you are gone. And these taxpayers will continue to pay that money. Well, they could be spent to educate and enlighten students. Instead, you're using it for self-edification. I call on this board right now to change your ways, act morally, pull item 5 and 6, vote no, change the direction of this board, because I assure you, if you don't, this community will change this board. And then, Mr. Wright, you will share your degree in technology to find a job elsewhere. Thank you.
Next speaker will be Melissa.
Good evening, President Sun, Vice President Chapman, members of the board, Superintendent Guys, and Stephen. I plan for 1 minute, so I'm going to extend it like any good teacher. My name is Melissa Grimscheid, and I am proud to serve as the president of the Tolleson Union Education Association. Unions exist for essentially 3 categories: pay, benefits, and working conditions. I feel extremely privileged to have gotten a job in this district. When I left my previous district, I was working not only as a teacher at my campus teaching teenagers during the day, I taught adults at night at the MCC, I wrote a blog for the Easy K-12 Center, I coached national board certified candidates also for the Easy K-12 Center. I taught teachers in the summer through ASU and other programs. I did all that so I could pay the bills. Now that I'm at Tolleson, I work with my teenagers so I can pay the bills. It makes a huge difference to work in a district that values paying educators, because I cannot even tell you that list exhausts me just talking about that and all those jobs were at once. We have items on the agenda tonight that cover the working conditions. As part of the Tolleson Union Education Association, we also represent several members of staff who work at the district office. I don't know if you have been in the district office lately, but the B building, especially like, have you ever seen an episode of The Simpsons where they stack desks on top of one another, so they have like 4 levels above? That's about where we're headed in the B building at the district office. I am here to advocate for members who work at the district office and would like to have a cubicle of their own. It is not much to ask. Building a larger district office will allow us to expand, seeing as the current one was built when only Tolleson and Westview were the schools in the district. And now we serve, 17,000 students across Avondale, Glendale, Phoenix, and Tolleson. I would also like to follow with one thing, and this is what my 1 minute is going to be focused on. I'm asking 0 of you to resign. Absolutely 0. I would like you to stay strong. I don't know if the public understands what happens when a governing board member resigns, but the county superintendent of schools is the one who gets to appoint their replacement. Our current Maricopa County superintendent of schools has done a bang-up job in both Queen Creek and Liberty, appointing people in the community. Neither the community, nor the district, nor teachers wanted it all. I'm asking you to stay strong. Please continue to stand in the gap between the forces that would like to destroy public education and our students.
Gladys Contreras, please come to the podium.
My name is Gladys Contreras. In response to the erosion of public trust by the Tolleson Union High School District's Governing Board and Superintendent Jeremy Galles, the nonpartisan Citizens for Schools Accountability Organization emerged. Its numerous bipartisan members are public servants with long careers in the public school sector, which include former teachers, principals, school administrators, stakeholders, community leaders, and elected officials at the city and state level. These individuals are supporters of education who value the importance of public education and funding. However, we are dealing with board members, reckless expenditures of district funds, which is an abuse of monies with an adverse, unquantifiable impact on students, teachers, and schools. This is unsustainable. In 2024, voters approved a $125 million bond measure. In February, this board shelled out $25 million for the Isaac School District. 6 months after the election, 3 board members seek taxpayer approval of another $125 million bond with a $16 million budget override in the upcoming election, demanding a total of $141 million. The board is pursuing a new business venture, a real estate development. TUHSD community owns 30+ acres purchased for an estimated $8 million, which Tigers intends to lease to a private company. In order to avoid, intends to lease to a private company. In order to avoid public input, this board placed consent agenda items on the following: a 6.9-acre land purchase in Glendale for more than $7,350,000 for a new district office and an additional $7 million for 11.96-acre land purchase in Phoenix. A total of $15,171,986 in real estate purchase comes at the expense of paying students and no curriculum. In lieu of land purchases, the money should be invested on training teachers, creating curriculum, assessing development measures, etc. The school board has demonstrated an inability to govern, to oversee educational policies, to prioritize student needs, to be fiscally accountable, and to represent the community's interests. We invite you to join our collective efforts to raise awareness within the community of the unconventional, unfounded women's of
But I unfortunately was asked by a teacher from the Tolleson district to come read a statement on your behalf because unfortunately they're in fear of retaliation. So with that, her letter states there are true concerns regarding qualifications of the current board, particularly Mr. Galles, to effectively lead Tolleson district. The district is being managed with a business-oriented approach, potentially overlooking the importance of community engagement in our family of educators. Community support is vital for Tolleson. It's what makes us special. However, the recent disconnect between the board and the community has weakened its effectiveness. The community's voice is not being heard, and their concerns about the use of district money are being dismissed. While staff members appreciate the improved conversation over the recent years, there are concerns that this may discourage open communication and true critical feedback from staff. Retaliation is real and has happened to some of our greatest educators and leaders, creating a climate of apprehension if we do not speak. Mr. Galles recently emailed us to wish staff a restful summer. Also discussed his credit for pay raises, which he believes benefited our school level grades teacher degree programs. The email did not focus on our success as educators, and we all do for students, but it did oddly acknowledge our birth rates. He asked to come out to support him today. If we don't, then we might have to go back to the way things were before. It was in a sense threatening. Oh yeah, have a nice summer. Just don't bite the hand that feeds you. A significant portion of the board, including Mr. Calles, lacks experience in education. This raises questions about their ability to fully understand and address the needs and concerns of educators. Relying solely on the Tolleson board president may not provide a clear understanding or true perspective of the Tolleson staff. In conclusion, there is a need for restructuring the leadership of Superintendent Calles and the Tolleson School Board to ensure a community-focused, educator-friendly, and family-oriented leadership. Sincerely, a concerned Tolleson educator.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker will be Amelia Marin. Please come to the podium.
Good evening to the public. Good evening to the board and staff. I am reading this on behalf of a teacher that is in fear of retaliation. As a six-year teaching veteran, teachers are grateful for the raises that we have received from this board and from previous boards. However, the problem here is not about receiving raises or a good quality of life. It goes much deeper. As an entire school district, we have no shame about being constantly on the news in a negative light. We have no shame for the ethics this entire board and superintendent have compromised in a mere span of 12 months. Each and every single one of you claim you're in this for the kids, the staff, and the community. However, if you're to be honest with yourselves, it's always been about the money and benefits you receive, whether it be publicly or in secret. Mr. Calles, you claim to love this place, and if you really do, you would resign. Not because it would be admitting defeat, but because it's a morally and ethically right thing to do, after all the scandals that have risen in this district. We may be the highest paying district in the state, but we are also the most morally and ethically decadent district in the state. Saying we teach at Tolleson Union High School District no longer has the same weight, dignity, or value it once had 3 or 4 years ago. And that's the greatest scandal of all, considering what we get paid. Mr. Calles and his board treat the Tolleson Union High School District monies like a personal investment account. If in fact we need a new district office, we can build and should build on the property that we already own, not go out and purchase other properties. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Adam Morado. Please approach the podium.
Hello. Teachers. Labor unions represent the interests and rights of educators, particularly our public school teachers. Key aspects to the teachers' unions are representation. They act collectively to the voice of all teachers, representing their interest in negotiation with school districts and other stakeholders. We are the stakeholders. We also are your power. Approach us. We're here for you. We're supposed to be working together. Protection. They provide legal assistance and support to teachers who face disciplinary issues or legal challenges. Our teachers are afraid to speak up in fear of retaliation from the board and Mr. Calles. We have lost great educators because of this. Where is your Where is the protection for these truth tellers, your fellow teachers? CFSA, Community for Schools Accountability, is not against TUEA. We are against dictatorship that is plundering our public money and trying to steal our freedom of speech and tax us without representation. We are workers just like you. We are not here to take food from your family's tables. We are not here to be dramatic, but to exercise our rights that have been afforded to us. Without our teachers, there is no education. And without us, there is no paycheck. We have a symbiotic relationship. Join our community of taxpayers and parents. Together we can create the environment that we all need and want for our children. This benefits you and your stakeholders, which are the taxpayers and parents. Don't let these elected officials and the superintendent steal your rights. Don't allow them to bully you or buy your silence. Stand with us. You won't be disappointed. Unions were created to fight against administrations like this. Don't sell yourself. I can stand here and attack the board and the superintendent, but we know they're going to vote the way that they are told, because they are bought. It's not too late. It's not too late. I stand here asking everybody to join our movement so that together we can create a positive change in our district. Today we say no to the plundering and misuse of our public money. Remember who we serve. We serve
Thank
our
you for your
faith.
comments. Our next speaker is
Good afternoon. Madam President's son, Vice President Chapman, members of the board, and Superintendent Owens. I want to address something that I've seen that is very disturbing to me and my co-workers. I have noticed one sign and many others that I want to address. No bond until you are gone. Let me address a few things that would cause a major impact if no bond until you are gone does not pass. Our district building will begin to deteriorate, no renovation, no project being completed, and our progress on improvement and beautifying our district will be put on hold. Tolleson Union High School which is located on Vanderbilt Street, will begin to look incomplete. Is this what you want? All of our schools would love to have a nice pack like Tolleson. Let me make you an offer. Ride with me one day, not on district fund, but on my fund. And let's look at our preschool and get a feeling of what our school would look like if we don't pass the bond. We are so lucky to have beautiful facilities while others cannot even paint or upgrade their district office or have decent landscaping at their school. Do you really want to go back 8 years, or do you want to continue in the right direction that our superintendent is taking us? Remember, 8 years ago, our superintendent was the CFO. 8 years ago, we didn't have what we have today. If it was not for our superintendent, who was the CFO, he made it all happen. Come along with me, and let's take a ride to our feeder school and look and compare what would happen if we don't pass this bond. I will say it again. The beat would be on me and not the district. I'd be more than happy to ride around with you high school and make a comparison. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker will be Louise Saber. Sounds.
Yes, I am Louise Sonic, Desert Devil. Interesting. I already came up. Thank you for inviting me again. Listening to these people is really intriguing information, but I just want to thank you. It's been an impact on the community, what the board has done for us. So I really appreciate all your support. It's affected over 200 families, I can tell you that right now, and it's growing. And we hope to do that for the rest of the schools as well. So I don't know what all the beef is all about. I can tell you that I've learned, I've been in the community. I graduated myself from Tolleson Union High School. I got 5 children that have graduated from Tolleson Union High School. I have more than 30 years in the community, and it's always been positive. I can also tell you, I can see what Tolleson looked like when I started compared to what it looks like now, and it's phenomenal. What my kids have been able to endure, what they've been able to experience, has been a lot more than what I did. So I can only say thank you. I'm very appreciative of everything you've done for the community, Mr. Caius, and I say please continue and continue strong. I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker will be Nicole Connor. Please approach the podium.
Madam Board President, Mr. Tolleson, and members of the board. My name is Michael Connor. I am a 20-year resident and member of the Tolleson community, and I've been the last 13 years a teacher in this district. I'm also on the board of the Tolleson Union Education Association, and for the last 10 years my job has been to represent the people who get in trouble. I sit with Ms. Almo as a process everyone. I have sat with Mr. Caius. I have sat with Nora Gutierrez. I've sat with all of them, and I'm telling you, this retaliation from anonymous sources isn't happening in the district. I've never seen it. I've never represented a single person across the table facing any retaliation. So I can tell you right now, from first-hand information, it's not happening. It's happening. They're lying to you. All right, so I rise in support of our bond and override, and in discussing the current projections and the bad behavior from a small group of Tolleson residents. In the 13 years here in the district, I have seen great growth. Most of it coming after Superintendent Owens was hired as CFO and has expanded with his hiring as superintendent. In his time in the district, we went from a place where 30 to 40% of our teachers quit every year. That included the time when our former board member that came up to speak, and when Keno Ford as superintendent. Today, over 95% of our employees return annually. That impacts positively student achievement. We now have a program to give every employee a degree without any cost to the employee and only a minimal cost to the district. It is an absolutely remarkable display of negotiating prowess. HIAS has supported teachers, increasing their skills by becoming national board certified teachers, both of which lead to direct student improvement. Overrides help our kids, after-school programs, field trips, and expendable classroom equipment to positively impact student learning and teacher pay. Cutting an override will hurt kids. 40 years ago, Tolleson was a 6 square mile town, 10 miles from downtown Phoenix with one high school. While Phoenix, Avenue, and Glendale grew, Tolleson remained the same 6 square mile town with one high school. While the district grew now to include one high school in Glendale and Phoenix, and soon to be 5 in Avenue. In the 40 years, Tolleson went from representing 100% of our district to now representing less than 15%. Along with the lack of growth, Tolleson lost much of its political power as more voters have moved around to other cities. They are losing elections, they used to win easily, and now want to take that out on our kids. They support candidates like Keno Flores, who is required to pay $30,000 in money he owed and took from the district when he was superintendent, and then recently was removed from the ballot for submitting fraudulent signatures. A small group of Tolleson residents want to kill our bonds and our overrides. This will hurt our kids in our district. If you don't like the current board, fine. They have my full support. But don't take the frustration out on our kids. I suggest you start for the pledges.
Thank you for the comments. And now we'll be moving to the next item, and that will be the information discussion item, results of the third-party investigation into the Tolleson High School incident. Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, at this point in time, we do have the results of our third-party investigation, and we'll bring up our investigator, Ms. Deanna Wright.
Good evening, President Sun, Vice President Chapman, Superintendent Kayes, and Revenue Board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today to present the findings of my investigation. Due to some circumstances and a little bit of miscommunication, I don't believe you've yet seen the report. You will have a copy of it this evening. I was able to forward that to Superintendent Kayes late Friday, and so that is the reason for the delay. Our firm, my name is Deanna Wright, I'm with Greater Melrose. Our firm often performs investigations for charter schools and school districts throughout the state. We were asked specifically to investigate an incident that occurred involving Tolleson police officer Eric Hendricks on the Tolleson High School campus involving a student. In that incident, the student was exiting the office when Officer Hendricks approached him, tried to stop him, assaulted him, and took him to the ground and eventually arrested him. Without going into too many details about the student, because of student privacy issues, I would like to let you know that we conducted a detailed investigation that involved speaking with all the parties involved, the teachers involved, the security staff involved, and we did attempt to speak with both Officer Hendricks and the officer for University High School, Diana Rivas. We were able to speak with everyone involved except the Tolleson Police Department officers. I met with Chief Mendoza and with Assistant Chief Pro. They told me that they believed this investigation was politically motivated, and despite my assurances that I am not a political party, I'm not related to the district, I came in independently, I could not secure their willingness to allow their officers to participate. Through the course of my investigation, I did speak and interview 12 people that observed the first incident that I just mentioned. I reviewed all of the surveillance videos available on campus. Unfortunately, during the incident in question, neither Officer Hendricks nor Officer Rivas activated their body-worn cameras, and there was no footage of the actual takedown other than some surveillance video that was from a distance. However, there were additional officers that responded to the scene after the student was secured, and then arrested the student, and I have their body-worn cameras as well. Based on my investigation, I found that unfortunately, and maybe I should back up and tell you something that precipitated this incident. The student and his former girlfriend had broken up and had an altercation on the campus 4 days earlier on Monday. At that time, the former girlfriend, had slapped the student. The student slapped her back. She slapped him again. Then they separated. They were disciplined and they weren't on campus for several days. This incident occurred when they returned to campus. The student was waiting outside his former girlfriend's classroom, and to avoid any conflict between them, the teacher escorted his former girlfriend to the front office. The student began to follow and try to engage with his former girlfriend to talk to her. He was not threatening her, he was trying to talk to her, although he did get agitated and the teacher would not allow that. At some point, the student walked ahead and went to the office to speak to the assistant principal of discipline, and they were separated for quite some time. And at that point, the former girlfriend, the teacher, In describing this, I am not intending to justify the student's actions in the incident or the student's failure to respond to the officer. However, I was looking specifically at the officer's actions and his response. When a student is not accused of any crime and there's no reason to detain them, it was an unnecessary escalation of the incident for Officer Hendricks to attempt to physically restrain and to use physical force to restrain a student that was not acting aggressively toward anyone at that time and was trying to exit the situation. Those are my findings. With respect to the body-worn cameras that arrived later on the scene, as an example of Officer Hendricks' state of mind at the time, the student was handcuffed and standing. Officer Hendricks was on one side, Officer Reed was on the other. A sergeant had approached the student who was upset and trying to talk to him. The student was responding to the sergeant, and the sergeant kept telling him, "Calm down, you're not going to go anywhere." The student looked at Officer Hendricks and said, "He said I'm going to jail." At that point, Officer Hendricks instructed the student not to look at him, and then forcibly put his hand against the student's face and kept pushing him away. And the student started to struggle again, and at that point, the officer put him in a headlock and did another knee strike to his midsection. It is my finding that that kind of conduct is excessive and likely not what's expected by the parents, the staff, or anyone else of our treatment of students on campus. Proper de-escalation techniques would likely have resulted in a different outcome. The student was arrested. The student was charged with resisting arrest. That's the only crime, and he never should have been arrested to begin with, except that he had that unfortunate incident with Officer Hendricks. I'd like to point out for anyone of you that were aware of this incident and heard the city council meeting that occurred on February 11th, Officer Hendricks made some statements. Chief Mendoza made some statements. I did take those into account, as well as Officer Hendricks' account in his police report, since he would not speak with me, so that I got his perspective. They keep trying to describe this as a domestic violence incident as a justification for his attempt to detain this student and his actions toward this student. There was no violence that occurred on campus that day. And I'd like to be very clear about this. This student didn't instigate the initial violence 3 days prior, or the altercation that occurred, nor was he violent that day. He was inappropriate. He was engaging in conduct that merited discipline on campus, but definitely did not merit being punched repeatedly and being restrained and then arrested. This student has suffered emotional harm, and he has gone through quite a bit this year, and he is now attempting to regain the educational opportunities lost this year. As an aside, after my initial day conducting interviews on campus, another incident with Officer Hendricks had happened, where he also took down a different student. He acted very differently in that situation, and he acted very appropriately. And my findings on that were that he appropriately intervened upon the request from the school principal, and he took him down with a much more subdued level of force on that occasion. You will receive my complete findings in writing, and whether or not you share that with the public, I have anonymized the student names in the report, so that if you choose to share it, you can. If you have any questions or need additional information, I am happy to address that at this time.
Thank you, Diane, for your thorough investigation and your time in this matter. I know that timeline was not as efficient as you would like, and the cooperation or lack of was no part, from all parties involved. We try to, as board members, not to be involved, but we were anticipating this report and the planning. Members, any comments, questions?
Miguel, do you have any comments or questions?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Do you have any comments or questions?
Not at the moment, thank you.
Superintendent Guys, do you have any comments, questions?
No, just that if you check your email inboxes now, that email has been sent, so the people have sent that out to all governing board members. If you would like the report to be made public, we can bring that back at a future agenda item for you vote to make the report public. Right now it is marked as confidential, it is in your inboxes, you do have the full copy of the report.
So with that said, we will bring this back potentially, but individual board members will have a pre-read to the information that you presented this evening. So thank you for that, and we will reach out and have this addressed, and hopefully it will be on our next agenda. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Madam President,
My apologies, Member Del Vazio.
well, I just want to thank you for conducting a very thorough investigation. And I just want to share that students' rights don't stop at the school gates. And that's our role, or our should never be used in a way in which that level of escalation then equates to violence on kids. And so thank you for doing that. I know we're going to take a look at it and find other remedies to ensure this doesn't happen again. Thank you.
Thank you again. And now to our next item of the approval of the consent agenda. I would like to motion for item 567 for discussion. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Point of order. For policy
My microphone's off. Can I get my microphone on? Can I get my microphone
per policy BA, and my email sent on Friday of last week, I requested items G5 and G7 for discussion, and they do not require a majority vote.
Member Luna, if you want an agenda item to be removed, you do need to get the votes. So currently,
That is
there's a
incorrect.
motion
Point of
on the
order.
table.
That is incorrect. Read the policy. The policy is BEDBA. Does not require a majority. I was within the 24 hours to request this item to be removed as of Friday of last week. These 3 items need to be taken off the agenda for discussion because they are over $1 million, and the public and our stakeholders, our constituents, have the right to know what this money is.
So your request is to have it removed for discussion, correct?
Per my email and per policy.
I did not receive an email.
Madam President, to that effect, it says notification to the superintendent. I don't have an email from him. And you have a motion on the table to remove those items? We
For
have a
two
second.
across the table,
We can
yes.
take a vote to remove
And
those
I've
items.
already had a motion, I already had a second. So with that said, we're going to move forward with the discussion of item 567. And coincidentally, this is what you're requesting, so I'm motioning it, it's on the table, it's been moved. Now we're going to do a roll call. So please, pay attention. Roll call, please.
You're mumbling and rambling. I cannot understand you.
If you can't understand, you can always request for recommendations. So going through the policy nonsense, which doesn't even make sense. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. Roll call.
Dr. Luna Nahara?
Yes.
Mr. Dr. Lasky?
Yes.
Ms.
So with item number 5, the approval of the agreement with John F. Long Properties LLP to purchase 11.96 acres of land for $7.82 million. Can we have Ken come up here for this, or?
Yes, Madam President, we have our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Ken Hicks, available to answer any questions.
So, Ken, thank you for coming to the podium and addressing our questions and concerns. Could you just quickly give the public an overview of what this property entails and the purpose?
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Kayas, colleagues, committee members, thank you very much for inviting me up to give a little bit more detail on this item for your request. So this is the John F. Long Properties. This is at 93rd Avenue, I think it's Catalina. I look at it as just south, or just north of Thomas Road. It is near the hospital over there. And I believe our superintendent had some conversations with the West Bank superintendent to start talking about a partnership with some of our programming and how we can do more and how we can integrate it into our program and our academics. And so we started looking at the land. Rec reached out to John F. Long. They own all the property in and around that area, which already includes property that West Bank has already purchased. And if you drive by that, they're already under construction. So our goal was to try to get as close to the West Bank property so that we can have a companion school right next door and start create a partnership with our academic programs with the West Bank program. And so they originally offered, I think it was lot 11, which was not advantageous, but we continued negotiating, looking with them to see if we could get the one exactly adjacent to the West End property, and ultimately they were amicable to that, and then we started working on the negotiations of the contract. I will say this, in all of our property, we have appraisals and make sure that all offers are at or under appraisal. This is under the appraisal.
Okay, thank you, Ken. And this will be like a mini school, and about 500 students, am I correct estimate? And with these students, because of the distance to Westmac campuses, the logistics of transportation has always been a hinder. And now with this mini school that we can build with an estimate of about 500 students enrollment, this will alleviate that hinder and that burden of that transportation, that they can literally walk to Westmac and go in between classes. So it's not only a win-win situation, but a long-term investment for our student outcome and to elevate CTE programs, which we in desperate need of. There is actually more that we need, and we have more students that are interested in these various CTE programs. And what we want is to have that robust opportunities of CTE programs that we can't really complete in-house. So we have to go and work with Westmac. And Westmac has this amazing reputation across all school districts to facilitate, and they do have a certain number of seats per district. So in this way, we can build a stronger relationship so that our students get the best seat. Would you say, Ken, in your eyes, that this will be like a dream come true? Because some districts, they're not even in this area to facilitate and to have this opportunity, to even have the opportunity to purchase the land, to be right next door, and then it's still within our district.
Madam President, members of the board, the West End programs are very advantageous to the district charter school, private school, and block partner, get right next door to have almost a captive audience. It would be a medical focus, and so we would take advantage of that, and it would be very advantageous to the district.
So would you say that in the eyes of the community, what we were able to pull off is a win-win for all parties involved, especially for the students and their families?
Madam President, members of the board, I think create problems we would solve.
So what would you see any disadvantage of us purchasing this land and creating the mini school and to partner with WISMAC and having them as a neighbor?
I don't see any particular at this time, Madam President.
And Madam President, if I may, so when you look at this project, one of our greatest barriers right now for making CTE classes be available for all students is transportation. And so right now, because we don't provide transportation in the middle of the day to get students back and forth from WestMed, a lot of the students who end up going into those programs are those who can find a means to get transportation during the day. By creating a school, a small school right next to WestMed, it means that at the beginning of the school day, we are transporting them to that small school. There will be a corridor between our school and their school. They walk over safely to take their WestMed classes. This means everybody in our district will now have access to CTE classes, not just those students who can find a means for getting transportation in the middle of the day. We can now make CTE classes available to the entirety of the district.
What about our students that are lacking in basketball uniforms at Tolleson High School? And you can't even pay for that. So you want to pay for a small school.
Let's follow the decorum, and the audience, please reserve your comments for your next visit. We need to respect the ones that are at the podium as you receive, so please reciprocate in kind. Now, moving forward, if we have one more outburst, I will have you guys removed. If you, other members, questions, comments? Member Dalmacio?
I'll reserve my questions.
Okay.
So after all the members have spoken.
Member Chapman? Okay. Member Luna Nahara?
Yeah, so this is the first time that I'm hearing about a small school. I think that's incredibly disappointing because I think that our WestMed program is very good program. It is something that our community can definitely benefit from. As somebody who has worked in public education and has worked on actual school campuses, I do think that having this discussion or at least providing information to the board ahead of time would be helpful. Because on the agenda, it just literally shows a purchase of millions of dollars worth, but no conversation about where that, what's going to be built, what the purpose is, or anything. So it's very hard to support these types of things when I'm finding out, literally, as the community is finding out. And as an elected official, I have the right to receive all of the information that everybody is getting, and that's not okay. My questions in terms of capital projects, and this applies to all three projects that I requested to be pulled. If bond money is going to be used, if bond money is going to be used on these projects, and if bond money is going to be used on these capital projects, if these items were specified on the election materials that were sent out to our voters that authorized the bonds, and if they weren't, or if they were, did we seek a legal opinion by bond counsel to that effect?
Madam President, members of the board, yes, bond money is going to be used on all three of these projects. The last project will have a mix of multiple funding sources. Bond is not the only source. For the two land purchases, bond is the only source, and our bond pamphlet indicates that we will be buying or have the opportunity to buy land. So it was included on the bond.
But to be specific, it was not stated in the election materials that were sent to our voters what they were approving the bonds for. Is that correct?
Madam President, members of the board, I would never put a specific location of where we would purchase because then somebody else would purchase us and drive up the price.
But I'm not talking, sorry, Mr. Davis. I'm not talking about the specific locations. I understand that. My question is related to whether or not in the bond material, you specified that you were going to be building a new district office and that you were going to be building a small school to allow the voters, the community members, like myself, like my neighbors, I'm a parent in the district, I'm interested, and I'm finding out tonight what that property is.
Madam President, members of the board, we disclosed that we could be buying land with it, and that is what this is for.
I understand, but so the answer is no, right? Small school and new district office does not put any of the material that went out to our voters, the bond, correct?
Mr. Wright, that was just presented by Member Luna Nahara, the procedures and what she's requesting. Has that ever been done in the previous 3, 5, 10 years of the board? When we have used bonds notarized to set up new facilities, schools, any sort of land purchasing, have they all been through those processes and go to the public for approval and for, on the agenda?
So you ran on transparency. That was the whole thing. You're going to be transparent. This is not being transparent.
I was addressing to the person appropriate. So all members, please reserve your comments until you're recognized and to have that decorum and civilities. I'm asking the question to the speaker at the podium. Mr. Kim.
Madam President, members of the board, I can't speak for all of our history, but the last 3 provide that we, almost all of them have, that we may purchase land if the opportunities are available.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kim. And I would like to address Superintendent Guys. I do have a question for you. As far as the agenda scheduling, being the board president, with the agenda that's on this format, was I exposed and had the access at the same time as my fellow board members when this came up to the agenda?
Yes, Madam President, you all have access to see the meeting in draft form, so when it's posted as draft, you all have that availability. Additionally, the bond language in question is the exact same language that was used by our former board president, and she didn't seem to have a problem with it back then.
And with that said, for us to say that we saw this just today, how can that be possible if this was sent out in the draft?
President
So
Son,
I am addressing
we
the
just
superintendent. You are not recognized for you don't need to be jumping in telling
nowhere on the supporting documents.
This is information, so please.
Nowhere on the supporting documents.
This is support document that was in draft
or
form.
published. Does it say West Neck property or partnership? West Neck is not even mentioned.
You need to open the documents and read the contract like everybody else. And if you have a question, each board members, I repeat, each of you can ask the district office for additional information. If you don't take that initiative, that is on you.
My emails go unanswered, and everything needs to go through Mrs. Goodman per your request.
Per my request is based on policy, just like I had to go through the district
My
office.
emails go unanswered. I'm still waiting on supporting documents from a meeting at 2
Your
weeks ago.
email came through Friday, and Friday was the last day of the Memorial Weekend. So if you were to send
That's not what I'm talking about. That's the point, but thank you.
Well, if you're going to address it, we're going to discuss it, so you don't get to turn on and off the conversation that you start or somebody else starts. If you're going to start, I will finish. So with that said, you have every accessibility in the rest of the members. So if you want to come up here and give misinformation, I set you straight. So
No misinformation. I don't have the information.
You have the same information.
Please check
You
with
have the same
our
access
secretary.
of information.
Check
You
with our
have the district
secretary.
office. You
Check with our secretary and ask her if she can send me the information that I requested 2 weeks ago.
You already have the information before you. So if you want to provide this information, I'm going to stand here and say you are wrong.
May 21st, if you check your email from Lupita. It's
That's
in
not
there.
what I'm talking about.
So if you're gonna talk about everything you want out of a hat and driving us in circles, it's not conducive for this board. This is this is a public forum that we need to respect. So if you want to provide information or the misinformation, we're going to stand corrected. That includes you and everybody else. So if you want to sit there and say that you didn't have this or that, and we're addressing you with your email, your own email with the date, and we're trying to correct you because you want to do public, political, drama, please take it elsewhere. Because this community is tired of your misinformation, including ourselves. And then if you want to bring the same people in this meeting to create chaos and have one brain conversation, we need to stop and tell the truth. And you need to start looking in the mirror and tell the truth. And I run on transparency because I'm going to make sure that everything that's on this agenda with the attached presentation is thorough. The district office is held accountable, and if I see something in this app, let me know, and I can direct that to the superintendent. Because as far as she's sitting here saying that you didn't get this information till today, that's not correct.
This is the first conversation that we have had about a small school partnering with us.
And guess what? It's my first conversation too. It's going to be all of the members here today. First, we're going to have this conversation. That's why we need to do it before the public. We're not going to have this discussion behind the scenes. We're going to have it here.
But you had it on the consent agenda so that nobody can have conversations or discussions. You're missing the point.
The consent agenda is based on statute. The consent agenda is based on the statute.
You guys are burying millions of dollars worth of the consent agenda, and this board is complicit by just
You
passing
have
all of
millions of dollars that you have on consent agenda for the past 10 years. Do I need to go against that to the district office and pull them out? Because I will. You have put on so many items on the consent agenda on your watch, and now you want to point the fingers? And also, we are open to anything that you want to discuss, and we've done it before. We put on the consent agenda. Have you not remember 3 meetings ago? We did.
I have attempted to
Video.
post them, and
Not
you
going
have
to
voted
YouTube.
me down.
And you told them to
You
miss
have
a
voted me
notification.
down, and I
And
have
you want
attempted to post them on the consent agenda. That's why I have
and not having anything heard, and then you're coming here saying that, oh, we're just having this conversation, and I'm the first one to hear about it. Well, guess what? The 4 of us, this is our first time, and this is how we're going to conduct ourselves. We're going to have this meeting, we're going to have our first conversation together. And then if any members that want to have a discussion, pull out consent agenda like she did, or Del Dazo did before, or Miguel, or myself, we are allowed to do that. And we can deny it or accept it. So we're going to go through the process, and this is how it works.
I'm going to read to you what you have on your consent agenda.
And
The
she's
consent
not
agenda
recognizing
is for me to say that without
and she's
discussion.
interrupting me because I'm still talking. And if she wants to talk, I'll stop and then I'll address it and let her have the discussion. But as far as all of us saying that this is the first time for her to hear this conversation, it's a lie. It's a lie because this is the first time for all of us. It's just about her? No, it's the 5 of us. We're going to work this out together and provide the best service for our community and to get a win-win scenario where our money is going to be invested, meaning that when we build these properties or lease back, whatever the case may be, it's going to be a win-win situation. Now, with all the information that's out there, it's always going to be based on fact. Because you know what? There's no receipt that we did something wrong. Because if we did, trust me, you guys will know about it. But there is no information out there that says what we did was illegal. And I have faith in our district staff to get all this agenda and all the information before us. The fact that we have our CFO before us on the podium to address these questions is a good thing. So I understand that the concern that you have, but please, don't provide this kind of misinformation. It's detrimental. It doesn't create the, interaction. Because we do want to hear from all board members and from the public. And for you guys to say that we have not, based on all the misinformation, I don't blame you. I don't, because I would be confused as well. Now, we're going to continue to have this conversation.
She was making a comment.
And we will have this, continue to so, and she can speak, but after I'm done. And then we go back and forth. But we don't interrupt each other. Because being the president, I have to run this meeting so that we all can be recognized. And you guys can talk as long as you guys want, but let's just be civilized. Member Chapman.
I was going to make a motion to accept item 5 and further discuss the motion.
Have you done the roll call?
Madam President, I still have some comments and questions I'd like to get through.
I'm sorry.
I would like to have some comments and questions to proceed
Okay.
before we call. Thank you so much. Mr. Hicks, you said that the current amount that we're set to vote on here was well under appraisal. Is that right?
Madam President, members of the board, I don't think I said well under, but it's under appraisal.
Under appraisal. And so, with the rising cost of commercial real estate constantly going up, especially in the West Valley, with all the growth and all the things that are coming into our community, that's not necessarily a bad thing to be under appraisal. Second, what I would like, if you can, is a lot of times we use acronyms in education. Westman, would you mind explaining what that program is to the public holistically, please?
Madam President, members of the board, sorry, yes, we do use lots of acronyms. WestMec is the Western Maricopa County, or Western Maricopa County CTED, which is our Career Technical Education District. I believe it services 15 different districts across the West Valley.
Okay, and this is a program in which students can go and get certified in technology, aviation, amongst other things, right? To prepare them for the real world, the job market, is that correct? I'm looking over here because they're CT director, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you're the expert here. Is that correct?
Madam President, members of the board, they do it in various ways. They have satellite campuses with programs that are on our campus that we split funding, additional funding for it, and then they have their own campuses. And then this is the Southeast campus, and they have a different focus on Southeast, Southwest, Central, Northeast, Northwest, and so they build major campuses that have a focus. This is going to be their medical focus because it is so near the hospital. And so they attract people from around all 15 of those districts to go to that main campus.
Well, that's fantastic, thank you. And Superintendent Pius, in your day-to-day, from the information that you gathered, is there a high demand from our students asking for more career technical education opportunities?
Absolutely. We have our CTE director present, and I'm sure George will share with you one of the biggest obstacles has been transportation. And this is how we solve the transportation issue, by being able to partner and build a school right next to Westman. So this, and the idea that this concept was never floated before is also false, because this was brought up before when we had the former president in her role, and I first began speaking with Westman about the possibility.
That's not true.
Hold on 1 second. So, with regards to the CTE, career technical education, we know the future of this economy is primarily driven by technology. AI. We've all heard AI in the news. We've all seen that AI is going to get rid of a lot of jobs, entry-level jobs, data entry, so on and so forth, processing jobs. So all the data and reports I've seen with our upcoming students and the next generation, Gen Z, and even Alpha, career technical education in the trades are going to be extremely important in terms of job security. So as we're thinking about how we prepare our kids post-high school, whether it's college or military, career technical education in the trades is extremely important. At one point, there was a time where our kids didn't want to get their hands dirty. But now, there's a huge interest due to AI potentially getting rid of a lot of jobs. And so these are potential careers that they can earn high wages and have longevity and good benefits to provide for their families or whatever their goals are. So if this is what we're talking about doing, I think it's a worthy investment. Why would we not support our children reaching their fullest potential? Why would we not support giving our students the options to be able to achieve a healthy lifestyle post-high school. That's what it's all about. I don't want to see our kids struggling and paycheck to paycheck. I know too many people in my family that do that. Heck, I've been there once. If I had an opportunity like this potentially, or to go to a high school district that would invest in my future, that's not maybe just college, because college isn't for everybody. Military, there's other opportunities, right? I don't see how this is a bad investment, especially if it's under the appraisal. And it sounds like it's still a lot of flexibility. This is all just hyperbole, if you will. These are all just ideas. Nothing is set in stone. But the fact that this purchase will give us the opportunity to create a vision for what we all want as a community, but more importantly, what our students want and what they need. That's driven by future and current job economic outlooks, right? That's what we gotta pay attention to. The jobs of today aren't gonna be around 20 years, 10 years from now. I mean, it's gonna change overnight, and we wanna ensure our students aren't left behind. I don't want Tolleson kids left behind when it comes to job economic prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Blasio. Just to add on that is we have CTE programs, opportunities for our students. We also contribute to our campus grade. And if you look at communities that are affluent, their CTE programs are very robust. And we deserve just as much as everybody else. It doesn't matter how much money you make or what household income you make. It comes down to student outcome. And we're going to make sure that they're going to get every opportunity to excel in this world that is not going to be always fair. So with that, I'd like to make a motion for item 5 to be on the consent agenda. Can I have a second? No. Motion approved?
Second.
And now we will go to item 6 for, I'm sorry, roll call please.
Dr. Luna Nahara? Abstain. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
No. Mr. Chapman?
Yes. Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. And now we will have the item 6 for discussion. The approval of the agreement with 5445 Glendale JV LLC to purchase 6.96 acres land for $7.35 million. And Mr. can entertain us once again.
Madam President, members of the board, I can answer questions, but just give a brief overview.
Can you just open the overview, Ken?
Yeah, so for Madam President, members of the board, for over a year, we've been talking about looking at a new district office and where, what to put it. Looked at probably 4 to 6 different pieces of property and then evaluated the effectiveness and the costs associated with building where it would be. And so finally came across this piece of property in Glendale through our realtor. And so after evaluating, looking at it, it met a lot of our needs, and on the front end did not look like it was going to have any increased costs associated with it. And so then began some negotiations for the last couple months, I believe it was, and then got an appraisal and made sure that the cost was under appraised value as well. And so this piece of property is at 99th Avenue in Missouri. This is south of the furniture warehouse and east of the West Neck district office. That's over there.
Thank you, Mr. Ken. Members, any comments, questions for Mr. Ken? Member
Yeah, so Mr. Hicks, just for transparency purposes, did we not already have a master plan with the district office built with a giant T on the top that would be seen when planes fly over Tolleson on property that we already own in the city of Tolleson?
Madam President, members of the board, yes, we did conduct a master plan that identified a place for a district office to be. It did come with some considerable increased costs at that point, and I know there were some other issues related to it, but yes, we did have a master plan that identified a district office.
Mr. Hicks, can you please explain I don't think it's fiscally responsible to buy new property if we already own the land and negotiate with the city of Tolleson so that the mural can be preserved versus spending $7 million out of pocket.
I didn't hear your question, I'm sorry.
Do you think it's fiscally responsible?
Madam President, members of the board, I don't necessarily think it's not responsible in the sense that purchasing additional real estate is an asset that stays within the district, within the property and ownership of the district. Given the constraints, did I negotiate? I did not negotiate. There was a lot of headwinds on it, and the goal is not to disrupt the entire community. Even just talking to the site about how we love the mural, we look out about it every day. The goal is not to make their life worse. We're trying to make their life better. We're trying to operate. We know that our district office, we have probably 4 or 5 offices where there's 2 to 3 people in it, or will be over the summer, and so we have a problem and we need to solve it as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. So just for the record, we did not attempt to negotiate with the city of Tolleson over the mural, and instead are choosing to spend $7 million of our taxpayer money for a new property when we own existing property that we could comfortably build a district office.
Madam President, members of the board, I did not negotiate. We as a district have all over somebody else in that hall.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks.
Members, any comments, questions for Mr. Yan? Member Del Blasio.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Just sort of actually, Superintendent Gaius, you're there day to day, right? I don't work every day. Talk to me about the capacity issues potentially at the current district office. Are there any? What does it realistically look like for our employees that are there? So on and so forth.
Yeah, so we've been, just real fast, Madam President, we've been turning conference rooms into office spaces, and we're continuing to do so because we don't have as many places to meet. We've had this capacity problem for a while since adding West Point on and needing to take on additional staff to support the growth of our district. So this need, again, has been raised for the last couple of years under our former president's watch. So there was consensus that we needed to build a new district office. When we looked at building the new district office on Van Buren, there was a crowd almost as big as this one saying, do not build that office there. They stated protection for the racquetball courts and the murals, protection for all the play courts. We had to go out and buy additional land to try to find a place where we could relocate the park so that way we could put the district office on Van Buren. So the number of hoops that we've been trying to jump through to find a way to accommodate a location on Van Buren are considerable. We're not seeing those same obstacles with building on this piece of property that's been identified. Additionally, it is Westmec will be our neighbor. Their corporate office will neighbor our corporate office, and it increases our connection with Westmec as we continue to grow our CTE program.
Okay. So this current option, the mural will stay in place in Tolleson?
Absolutely. All the play courts that everybody's grown to love in that community will stay in place. The mural stays in place. There was this reference of, did you negotiate with the city? It wasn't about negotiating with the city. It was about listening to the community and respecting the community's wishes that they did not want to see that mural go away. So I don't know why there's this concept of somehow we needed City of Tolleson's permission on what we were doing with the mural. We wanted to leave the mural in place out of respect for the community.
And then, again, this is all conceptual, but what are the plans post new district office for the current district office?
Yeah, so we'll have our CEA, Continuing Education Academy, will be moving into that district office, as well as DLA, our Distance Learning Academy. They are both right now in buildings that have outlived their useful life. When you look at Distance Learning Academy, they're in portable buildings that are on the Westview campus. The day before they moved in there, we had it scheduled for demo, and literally at the last day, because of issues with moving into Old Main at the Tolleson campus, which has now been remodeled, but there was concerns about the rats that were over there at the Tolleson campus. The principal elected to take those portables at Westview that were just about to be demolished, instead of go to Old Main. So she's been using those for a few years now for her staff. but they've been desperately in new places. Anyone who's been into Lighthouse, those Lighthouse is new places, so does Continuing Education Academy. So those old portable buildings that are long past their useful life and should have been demoed well over a decade ago will finally get demoed after we can move them into the district office.
Very well. So, and again, real briefly, because we use acronyms, could you explain CEA Lighthouse?
Yes.
Briefly.
So our Continuing Education Academy, it's right now, it's the building that's straight across the parking lot from the district office. The students that we're supporting there will be able to use those spaces. DLA, our Distance Learning Academy right now, it has over 500 students. It grows throughout the course of the year. It can hit over 700 students. All the teachers that are instructing them right now are inside the portables. And if you look inside the portables, there's also acoustics issues inside the portables because we have them in cubicles and all bunched up because the portables weren't originally designed for that. And because they're past their useful life and scheduled to be demoed, we didn't invest heavily into something that was supposed to be demolished. So the investment for their space comes into the renovation of the current district office to provide them those adequate spaces for instruction.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, some of those students are most wonderful students. Some of those staff that work with those kids are the most talented and dedicated staff. And so this means that we can get our kids out of portables. Again, not a bad investment. Long overdue. I know I brought this up plenty of times that those of our kids, especially those that need a second chance or need an extra push, they deserve quality learning environments as well. So if this is going to position them to be in a space, in an environment that can help, with their learning, then all for it. Now, future site capacity. Will this accommodate for how much years down the line in terms of growth? What do you see there?
The new district office will yes, accommodate for all the growth that we'll need until we get to a point where we are fully built out. Additionally, we are going to add a family resource center so we can better serve all of our community in Glendale, Avondale, Phoenix, and Tolleson. So we'll be adding a family resource center. We'll have a boardroom that's more accommodating there and plenty of office space for all of our staff.
So not only will this be inside a district office, but also a family center or a family resource center that will provide, I'm assuming, wraparound services. What are we talking?
So right now at our sites, we have been partnered with GCU and Callahan's Closets, and we've been offering additional resources to our families in need. They get a small space at each of the sites because the sites are pretty crowded. By building this family resource center, we'll be able to bring in a lot more supports for those families and be able to house adult classes and other classes at the family resource center, as well as provide those supports for any of our families in need. So we have right now already set up the structures for those donations to be coming in to support our families. We just need space to house and make all those transactions occur. So we already have the family resource center, has been in design for well over a year now. It was also going to go, if we stayed on Van Buren, we were still going to build a family resource center into the district office. So that's been a concept now for well over a year, going on 2 years, since we first started talking about this concept in district board meetings.
No, thank you. And I remember Dr. Rizal discussing the research he conducted in terms of family resource centers and going around to other districts and looking at what they're doing and what we can do better. So the fact that this land is going to provide for new growth for administrators and staff, but then also serve as a hub in which families can come across from across our districts, utilize for food, clothing, students, etc. I think that's, again, a worthy investment. And Ken, did you say it's under appraisal? The amount is under appraisal, so we're not necessarily paying market value for what it is, it's underneath? Correct. Thank you. Those are my questions.
Thank you, Member Devlin. So just to add on that, price tag it comes out to what, $15 per day?
Madam President, members of the board, I'm not sure. I think that was the previous agenda that was $50 per fee. I think this is a little bit more, maybe around $22 per fee.
So when I was looking at the original price, it was like a little over $9 million. Was that correct? The original sales price?
Madam President, members of the board, yes. Actually, yes.
Okay. So So this negotiation now down to 7.3 million. And hearing what we just had, the discussion and the benefit of this new building, I hope that you guys can see a pattern here is that we need to expand for the sake of the community, for the increased enrollment, the population growth. It is necessary, and we're trying to expedite this process as quickly as possible, because our current status is that we are packed. Our students are already in a very tight area of space. Some of our campuses are, over populated. So we are having our next high school that's going to be built, as well as district office, another mini schools. That's why district schools purchase land. That's the reason why we purchase more land, so that we can expand. We will get to a point sometime in the future where we won't be doing that. But we need to have student outcomes so that we can create A campuses. If we were to get 2 more campuses to become an A grade, that will make a district an A district. What does that mean for all of you? It means that the value of our community goes up. How that will look like depending on the area, but if your district schools are an A, in the next 20, 30 years, there will be generational wealth. And we are thinking of you and your children at all times. I know that sometimes it's hard for you guys to get the facts, but we're trying our best. But we ask for your patience and understanding, and that if there is concern, please bring it to our attention with civility and decorum. We're here to work together, as you guys all want us to do. We understand that there could be at times opposition. There could be times where there will be misinformation. But if there is, call us on it. Because we don't have receipt for anything that we have not done correctly. We will be held accountable if we do anything that is not up to par. And our community of 17,000 students covers over 180,000 people. We answer to all of them, and they come to us with concerns. When they email us, my student is not getting to the restroom. There's not enough restrooms that are open, that are operational. We have to address these tiniest issues, and they are a laundry list long. Members, Miguel Ortega or Member Chapman, any comments, questions?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this makes sense for me. I think we talked about, Tolleson needs a gym for space. We talked about needing a new facility for university, not just for the kids that are there, but, kids that can't get in either in the district or from outside of the district. And I know there's students from the surrounding area that want to go to University High, but, we just need more room in addition to White House. So this just allows us more room there to focus on the academic buildings, as well as remodeling our existing building to also focus on our students' academic needs.
Member Miguel Ortega, on the line, do you have any comments, questions?
I have no questions, but thank you for the discussion.
I have a final comment. My comment is that I'm not arguing that we have outgrown our space. That conversation has been happening for years. My point is we have land that we owe already, which we could build on without having to purchase additional land. That is the whole point. So I understand that the board, some board members are saying, yes, we've outgrown the space. State-of-the-art facilities. I agree with that. But I don't think that it's fair that we are going out and buying more land when we already own land. That is the point that I am trying to make.
No, the point is taken, and I would like to address that. So there's 2 points to that. We do have existing land. We do. question is, we want to be as strategic as possible to get that maximum, outcome. The district location that we chose is in Glendale, which is Westgate. And as you know, is the most expensive and the most coveted land. So if you think about investment moving forward and having next door to Westmac campuses and their district office, you can't beat that. I mean, you can go, through a maze and try to figure out the shortest, outlet. We have come up with the best scenario where we can get the maximum, income investment. When we say investment, it's the money that's going to come back into our community that's going to give that community wealth. We can't just go to our previous existing land that just sits there, that is not even near anything, and then it's not as conducive to get the students and the staffs, engaged. So we also have to look at the bigger picture. So the argument that's why not just go for existing land, but we're going to purchase anyway. We have to expand. We have to grow. So let's grow in the maximum with the maximum, output. It's like picking an investment. You want an item that is more popular to be resold at the auction at a higher price than an item that isn't. I know that's a poor analogy, but that's how we're looking at it with purchasing, the land and whatnot. We're going to purchase land anyway. So why not get the best land? And the fact that we got this price reduced to $2 is phenomenal. And to have neighbors like Westmac and the campus, so that they have multiple. So now we have two, and that we can now give back to the community so that their kids can have the biggest output and have the best chance in society to get a high-paying, secure job, which is going to be their biggest challenge with artificial intelligence competing for their job. We grew up with less competition. We just have. We have to think about their future now and to think what is best for them, not this political theater. And I understand what our fellow members are saying, and it's a good point, but our explanation should make sense to you because you were in my seat and you would have to make those tough decisions and take in the advice from the district and what they have shared with us.
In items for $1 million should be brought for discussion, and this was shoved in the consent agenda where no discussion is allowed. So that's on you.
That's not clear. So again, let me address that statement. So let me address that statement because
first of all, it was on the discussion. It was not on discussion. I requested to pull it. If you wanted to have this robust discussion, and clearly everybody had something to say, it should have been put on production discussion, not on consent.
So
over and over
so you're going to make these outbursts without being recognized. All you have to do is pause and get recognized, and you can speak. The thing is that when you interrupt, you lose that privilege, and she knows this. So she just wants to keep on making these interruptions to make a scene. Now, they're all just confirmations. The thing is that if you're going to let me address it, you keep talking, and then you don't let me answer your concern, how is that going to work? So with the consent agenda, majority of the time it will be in there, but unless a member or a fellow member wants to have that with discussion, she brought it to the inappropriate people and she couldn't get a response back. That's on her. She knows better. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We understand that you do not give that information to the correct person. So it works that with the policy, so if you're not interrupting and you're going to interrupt, then we're not going to continue to have this discussion. You want to shut it down every time when things don't go your way. Now, if you want to have the agenda, the comments, the items to be removed for discussion like we are doing now, we are entertaining that. And yet you want it to be done before, when it's already been done, so damn if we do, damn if we don't. Like, how would you like us to go about this situation? The fact that it's in the consent agenda has always been this case. You've done this many, many times, thousands of times.
Never put you
And you have.
agenda.
You have. We
No,
can
I did
have
not.
all the previous meetings pulled out for our next, meeting to show all the items that you put in the consent agenda and people before you. Now, we're going to go through the process and have this discussion. And if no further comments for item 6, I motion that will be put back on the consent agenda to be approved, to be on the agenda. Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Dr. Luna Nahara?
No.
Mr. Del
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman? And Ms. Sun?
Yes. And now we will move to item number 7 for discussion. And Mr. Cameron's going to entertain us and give us a quick summary.
Madam President, members of the board, this is the request for approval of the Board of Pre-Construction for Tolleson High School number 8 to the Chase building. Traditionally, when we work through our CMAR process and we award rent at that time, we also award pre-construction services. Our last, when we approved the CMAR with Chase, it was a little bit difficult, and at that point, I was not entering into negotiations to start the pre-con services. The board did approve Chase, and so per Arizona Administrative Code R21112, it does require that the district contract with pre-construction services prior to working into the GMP. And so following our Arizona Administrative Code, reached out to the Chase building team and their senior administration to start the conversation. A lot of times, I can't remember if I've talked about the pre-con services before, but normally, traditionally, 1% is normal. With this project, I believe around $180 million budget, we've got $1.8 million. I think they sent over that request, which was a little higher, pushed back a little bit of asking, well, why exactly do you need that much money? I pulled the documents from West Point when there was a pre-con approved for that one, and that was $720,000. So I told them, let's start with the 720 and work off of that. And then that's how it came in under $1 million to $956,000. And so the administration is requesting approval of those pre-con services.
Thank you, Mr. Pan. Just to help the public with these acronyms, what does GMP stand for?
Madam President, members of the board, I apologize again. GMP is our guaranteed maximum price, and our CMAR is our construction manager at risk program that we approved at the previous board.
I apologize, GMP, not GMP. So if we were to go through any of the GC contracts, we all have to go through this part, right? And after this, what will be the next step?
Madam President, members of the board, yes, this is that step that's required. Our contractor that allows them to hire all the services they need to start working, because we will probably not bring a GMP again to maximum price to the board until September, October, because this is such a large comprehensive high school. It's going to take a lot of work for them to get into the plans. The plans aren't designed, fully designed, but then they have, as we go back through the CMAR process, this allows our contractor to be embedded into the process and make recommendations that are more advantageous do not spend any more than that on the cost of the high school. So if something comes in and there's a labor issue related to it, and it's not changing the scope of work of what we designed, then they have to keep that cost. And so our contractor will be keeping that cost.
Thank you, Mr. Kent. And now I'd like to open it to our available board members.
No questions. I just think that this is exactly what needs to happen every time we have anything over $1 million for a consent agenda. Either pull it or to have put it as an action discussion item.
Member Del Blasio.
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Member Miguel Ortega.
Any questions? Mr. Ortega?
No, thank you. Sorry, it's hard to hear.
I personally don't have any further question. Thank you so much for your time. Chapman, member Chapman, would you like any comment statements? So I'd like to motion for the approval of item 7 to be on the consent agenda. Can I have a second? Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera? Yes. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sena?
Yes. And now I'd like to motion to approve the entire of the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera? No. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sena?
Yes. And since we don't have a discussion item previously removed from the consent agenda, we will now move to item H, action discussion item approval of the lease option agreement with Dominion Acquisition LLC. Superintendent Guidance, please take it away.
Yes, Madam President, once again, our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Ken Hicks.
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent colleagues and community members, thank you very much for allowing me to present my last board meeting agenda item. And this is our lease purchase option agreement. Our lease purchase option agreement is different than a lot of most of our other lease purchases that you would have, or traditionally for other school districts, what they're working on. A lot of times they're working on lease purchase agreements similar to what we did for the warehouse when you're financing something to purchase something. This is a little bit different, and this time we are the lessor. So what we're looking at, just so you can see what piece of land we're looking at, is right south of the district office. So you can see that piece of land is highlighted right there. And just to go a little bit more granular, this is the piece of land in more detail. As you can see, in the very top portion of this picture, you have the school buses. So that's where our transportation areas and our transportation buses are parked. And then right south of that, what you have is a piece of property, about 34 acres. In the lower southeast, on the right-hand side of that quadrant, is where we're currently building our warehouse. Right above it is where we have earmarked for a future lighthouse facility. And then highlighted in red is the piece we're talking about, and then even further west of that, between the red and 99th Avenue, is one additional piece of property that's still yet undisclosed. The land history, so that's what we're talking about. The land history, those two pieces just that red, non-square, but red outline piece of land in the middle is about 12 acres. And so that proportional share of what that 12 acres cost of that total 2 parcels was about $3 million. What we did is, initially, we had somebody, actually, a developer, come to us and offer a sum of money to purchase it or to lease it. And of course, some of you may or may not know, I like to say no to everything, but yes to whenever there's a revenue stream coming in. So I like more students, I like to bring in more money, a lot of grants, especially if we could supplant those grants. This was one, and I said, absolutely, we're going to take this offer, and our attorney said, no, you cannot, because we did not do a process to try to evaluate if it was the best offer we could possibly receive. So we worked with our realtor to try to create a little package that he put out on the market, and I asked him to at least send this directly to at least 10 developers that he thinks would be interested, as well as posting it online for a period of time. We received, I believe, 4 offers, and then we sat together with our attorney, our realtor, myself, and the superintendent to evaluate all of those offers, and then we identified the best offer. And then we started working with our realtor and our attorney to come to an agreement on that piece of land in the process. The agreement that we now finally negotiated after months and months of going back and forth is for that piece of land, we will receive an initial payment of $4 million, and we will receive annual rent of $250,000 beginning in the 3rd year of this 99-year term lease. There is a 3% escalation amount on the amount of rent, and so when you bring out this 97 years of payment, plus the $4 million initial payment, the full term expected revenues is $142 million on this project. Because we had some comments back from the realtor and the people looking to lease it, they asked for an ability to acquire the property after 30 years, and our attorney said as long as it's still purchasing that property at or more than the fair market value, we're allowed to do that. And so we did put that option into this purchase. I will say, if they are able to purchase out at $30 million, just from the rent and the initial payment, you're probably at around $14–15 million of revenue coming in, and then you'll get the fair market value of that piece of property. The successful person that we're recommending right now is Dominion. I think it's Dominion. They're looking to put affordable housing on this property, and so they would initially, when we talked to them, they communicated to us is that they'd like to put 331 units on this piece of property, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and 4-bedroom, 2-bath mix, with anticipated monthly rents will range somewhere between $1,400 and $1,758. That's approximately 20% less than what comparable rents are right now. They believe, with our approval tonight and execution of this agreement, that they would be able to start construction next summer, and they believe that the estimated first occupancy of this property would be in the spring of 2028 would be their plan. And I would say no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ken. First of all, I just want to make a personal mention here. I'm very sensitive to the wording of affordable housing. When you have to lease, and when you have to rent, and when you have to work and go paycheck to paycheck, and not have the ability to create personal wealth or generational wealth through investment, either be land, property, it is not called affordable housing. But for them to receive the funding from the federal
Thank you, Mr. Hicks, for your negotiation on this. Once again, it sounds like you got the best bang for our buck. I think one big thing to point out too, as far as land dollar investment, we're getting, just for the parcel land that we're giving is, 1.5 times the paid for already, just in the first year. Let alone potentially 14 million, 30 years, or $140 million at the end of this contract. These are dollars that we can continue to invest in programs, continue to invest in attaining more staff, retaining our staff, as well as being able to help with, folks that want to move into the community, especially, people that we might employ down the road or currently want to live in the district. So I think this is a great initiative. I thank you for your negotiations on this and the superintendent for bringing forth the idea. I think it's a good idea, good investment. It's another way for us to secure some potential revenue to invest in our students now and down the road.
Thank you, Member Chairman. Just a comment on your comment. I don't know if our teachers and some of our staff will be qualified for the affordable housing because they are being paid the highest in the state of Arizona. So I don't want you guys to get all excited. So with that said, to the next member for comments, questions, Member Miguel Ortega.
Miguel, any questions?
No, thank you.
And now we'll go to Member Del Palacio. Any comments, questions?
Yes, thank you, Madam
President.
President.
I think that it's over 99 years, roughly 142 million, correct? This is, to me, a smart, strategic move to secure funding that exists outside of our tax base. In a time when the legislature's continuing to push vouchers, in a time where folks are getting ready to push a national voucher program, the shutting down the Department of Education, I can go on and on and on. Anyone in education knows what's happening in terms of the tax on public education with regards to funding. And if this is a way to secure a revenue source, long before any of us will be here, and I don't know, maybe with AI will grow some organs, maybe we can all see this, but the fact that we're able to secure this amount of funding over the next 100 years, I think is a worthy endeavor. And if not, we have an option, is that right, to buy it back, the 30-year mark? Is that what that was, or did I misread that?
No, that's...
Go ahead, Mr. Hicks.
Madam President, members of the board, it's not an option for us to buy it back, but when you look at the scale with the escalation, if you look at the last 20 years, the payments on an annual basis are going to be so large, they have an incentive that they would purchase, they have an opportunity to purchase the property outright for at least fair market value.
Understood. Thank you for the clarification. I still think it's a worthy investment. I want to thank you and your entire team who's worked on this for the last year or so, negotiating, trying to find a tenant that can offer this opportunity, not just for the folks in our community, but also provide, again, a revenue source outside of our normal bond strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Del Palacio. And just to add to this slide, if we can go back to slide, the one number 6, the agreement. Let's put up the agreement. There we go. So the term is 99 years. That's not going to be very pragmatic. After 30 years, the buyer, the leaser, the developer will have the option to purchase the land, which is at 12 acres that we paid $2.9 million for. And within that 30-year period, the accumulation will be potentially $14 million based on the renting fee that we'll be charging them. I believe it was $99,000 for the initial, secondary was $250, and then closing was $250. After the 30 year, moving it up to 30 years will give you about $14 million, plus the down payment of $4 million. So that's 1, 2, and now here's the third. The third header is that after 30 years, they'll want the land. And when they want the land that we paid $2.9 million, it could potentially, based on the market, since the proofs that we're giving you today to give you explanation on inflation and raises moving forward. This is how we are being aggressive with the taxpayers' money so that we can have that ROI, the return on investment, back to the community. This is well done. Thank you so much, Ken.
A question? You didn't ask, but I do have a question. Mr. Hicks, do we know, just by chance, how many either staff members or students moved into the housing north of Boundary that are actually in our community?
Madam President, members of the board, we could find that out. I don't know that many.
So we're not basing, the affordable housing concept based on experience that if we build it, our teachers will move in, our staff will move in, and we will get students that will actually move in and attend our district.
Madam President, members of the board, no. I would just add that we did try to push to get a greater discount for our employees to see if we could try to provide an additional benefit to employees. The affordable housing grant that they would be working with from the feds does not allow. It has to be open to everybody, so if you give it to one, you have to give it to all and not just to secure a certain number. So we spent a lot of time trying to negotiate that, and it just finally came off that it was not a thing.
Mr. Ken, I have to interject one moment, please. With the developer, would they have the interaction with the grant that they received to build physical housing, that they need to go by their measures of who can be qualified based on their salary and income? So potentially we could have families with children that are coming to our district, just no more no less anywhere else in the district as affordable housing.
Madam President, members of the board, yes, but that is not the driving force of that was the question you were asking. Is that what?
I believe the driving force is what we're seeing on the slide. Member and my apologies for the injection. Please proceed.
Question for you, based on so we've not done a survey, we don't know how many students or staff potentially we could get. Have you seen the language, and does it actually lead to affordability? So one of the things that I have seen in the state legislature is that many times corporations, realtors, you name it, will come and say it's going to be affordable, and at the end of the day, they exclude more than they can include. So there isn't an affordability piece. I have some concerns because I do think that housing is important, it's a necessity, right? It is one of the hierarchy of Maslow, right? We need housing in order for our students to be successful, for our staff to be families housed. I feel that that is outside of our purview. I think it is up to the state legislature and local government and municipalities to be the ones that bring the affordability to us, that we should be focusing on educating our students and focusing on student outcomes. That's point aside. But my question for you is, have you seen language that actually guarantees that there is an affordability piece built in?
Madam President, members of the board, our attorney has gone through it and knows it's been involved in all conversations with it, that this is the leasee that's asked for the affordability component. We're just the lessor, just leasing it. I think we're happy with this housing because that's how it first started, is that the developer came to us first, it wasn't this developer. And we thought it could be a win-win all the way around.
Just based on how much we've put in, at what point is our breaking point where we actually start making, I guess, we're bringing in revenue. I don't want to say profit because we're not supposed to be making profit, but ironic that this administration has pushed on not binding this current board with the decisions of the previous board, and yet we are happily walking into a 99-year agreement, binding endless amounts of boards and future superintendents on what I would say is a case study, because I have yet to find any school district in the state of Arizona or otherwise, unless Google is not being thorough, show me that this model is effective. Not talking about the profit base, because again, school districts are not here to make profit. We're here to educate. That is our primary goal. And I feel that this is taking us off that path. Comments about case study?
Madam President, members of the board, I haven't looked for any case studies, so I'll have to trust you.
I can cite one. My previous district, Irene Elementary School District, owned
Guys, if you can just hold on for 1 second and please ask for being recognized, and let's all follow the decorum and civility.
Yes, Madam President.
Please proceed.
At my previous school district, Irene Elementary School District, we owned 28 acres adjacent to the I-10. And I teed up before I left there to do this similar type of concept. After I left there, they finished the deal and they signed for a $100 million, 78-year deal to lease out their 28 acres. So yes, this has been done. This was done about 7 years ago. There's been other districts who have done it since. These purchases have been around for a long time. People have run things like this before. Now, to take that and combine it with affordable housing, that's the new twist to it. They did do the long-term ground lease. Districts, municipalities have done ground leases before. This is not a new concept. Our state leased back their own Capitol buildings. Our state Capitol, during the recession, was under a lease. The state Capitol. So yes, this is not a new concept.
Senate, if I may.
Please hold. I just want to make some comments. We have various school districts, even in our feeder school, that have done, lease back as well as purchasing land and making investment. Any sort of investment will yield increase for the community, the students, and hopefully and ultimately provide this student outcome. If you look at the numbers once again, and we find a clear definition of what affordable housing really means, we are bound by the legislature statute that this is affordable housing, and that with the realtors and investors, they have to work with the guidelines of the federal and the state statute to provide housing, affordable housing to the community. We don't really have a hand in that. Our part is the negotiation and the contract that has been conducted here. Of course, a term for 99 years is, believe it or not, is a standards under the water guidance as well. Like if we were to build any development, we need to have 100 years of water, and that this will give some sort of stability, continuity, moving forward. You can see there are stipulations that after 30 years, they can purchase, because they don't want to hold on to it for 99 years and pay $142 million, which we doubt will reach that. But in case that realtor or investor choose to transfer, that will be their call. But we can also have a lot of, say and input, and if they address that, can moving forward, what potential changes could happen for the district and the developer.
Madam President, members of the board, they still have a process to go through to get their product out and everything. So we're in escrow. We have closing costs and some discovery, so there's still things that could happen. This just lays the groundwork that we could execute all those loans as we would have.
All right, thank you so much. And now, member Linda.
Yeah, so just for the record and to clarify, my question is not questioning whether these option agreements are legal, have been done by the districts, I realize. My question was, has a school district done affordable housing? And the answer is no. So, thank you.
Madam President, members of the board, one crazy caveat is there's a teacherage ability
clarify once again, we are not the landlord, we're not building the house, we're not applying to the feds for the subsidies to help provide for affordable housing. We are doing a ground lease. Ground leases have been around for a long time. Whether you ground lease out our state trust land so you can go build Desert Ridge, whether you lease back our state capital, the ground lease concept has been around for a long time. We are doing nothing different other than leasing out. Our tenant may be different than other people's tenants, but this is a ground lease, and ground leases are common.
And you can see the variations that we are exploring every option, and in some ways we are being innovative. We will stop if the statute changes. That would be the only way for us not to move forward in this fashion. As far as investing in our community, that we will always focus on and find ways of moving forward. And I want to applaud our CFO, Ken Hendricks. Although his first day has been with us, his work has been extensive and collaborating with our superintendent, the board, the district staffs, and of course, the campus site. We, will be in remiss if we say we won't be, it will miss your great work. And this was his last presentation. It's a very nice farewell gift to our district. And I know that you will not be a stranger, and we can always call for any matters if you wish to pick up. We hope you do. And with that said, again, any comments, questions? If not, again, I want to thank you for all you've done and giving us your best.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Thank you for that opportunity. I would also like to say thank you for spending my 30th year anniversary with me tonight. Hopefully my wife is still up and I'll be.
Make sure to take some of these cookies. Real quick, I just want to thank you, Mr. Hicks, for his presentation and for choosing Tolleson Union High School District like so many others. And it's definitely a great send-off that negotiate. So with that, I'd like to motion to approve the.
Second. Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna-Heda? No. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega-Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman? Yes. And Ms. Senna?
Yes. And now to the request for future agenda items for any board members that have any for the next agenda. Please have them sent to our email to Superintendent Guys. And then for our future meetings, our June 10th is canceled. And then our next regular meeting will be June 24th at 3 p.m., not 6, 3 p.m. And with that, I will motion to adjourn this meeting. Can I have a second? Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna-Heda? Yes. Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega-Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Senna?